I'm Andy Schmuckler. People are talking these days about this electoral disaster. One of the ways they talk about it is that it is so unfortunate that we only had a short campaign. She didn't have very long to introduce herself. It would have been better, Nancy Pelosi says, if Joe Biden had simply withdrawn from consideration early on to allow the Democrats to choose a successor. I think that really misses what's happened. I think it's ignoring some simple truth that the fundamental choice in this election was between two things that were like black and white with respect to each other. One into dividing people, one into unifying people, one into joy and a spirit of love, the other one some kind of dystopian, dark fantasies about being the immigrants and the Democrats and the bad people and just all kinds of inflammatory rhetoric between one side that's basically saying things with real truth value, and the other one that consistently is acting in a deceitful way in its communications with the people. One of which is going to would continue our support of democratic Ukraine to make sure that the Russian fascist aggression was not rewarded, and one of whom refused to say he wanted Ukraine to win, and so on. Climate change, every issue you can think of. And I ask those people who think, oh, well, she needed more time to introduce herself. Can you imagine anybody doing a better job of showing that the positiveness of what she was offering in contrast with what Donald Trump and the Trump party were offering? I think that she did an extraordinary job of showing a beautiful set of humane qualities. She showed her personhood and her in a range of ways. I don't think. I mean, I'm looking to maybe Gavin Newsom might be a person of the future for our side if we have more elections. But I can't imagine that Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or any other Democrat I can think of would be able to have done a better job in showing the American people the nature of the choice that they faced. Did they want to choose the party of hatred and honesty and the rule of law, or did they want to choose the party of the opposite of those things? So I don't think there's a problem with the Democratic candidate. Now, maybe the misogyny and the racism factor. Maybe the Democrats wouldn't have nominated her. But in terms of showing the American people what the choice was between, I mean, basically, this was a battle between two coherent forces that operate in the American nation that gradually have sorted themselves out so that we end up with Liz Cheney on the opposite side from where most of conservative America went. And it's alignment that basically is democracy and fascism, which also aligns with good and evil. Coherent forces that we reasonably could call good and evil, and who just had a showdown in this election where Kamala Harris and Donald Trump fully dramatized Trump getting darker and darker and darker, showing very well what it was he represents. Not very subtle. I mean, a guy who insults his opponent, is that the kind of politics that the good would have it be? There have been norms in American politics. He tramples on all of them. Those norms were basically developed so that our politics could be more healthy. The American people were given this choice. Our focus should be on why did the American people come to the point at this time? How did it happen that with such a stark choice, which Kamala Harris did a beautiful job in embodying and dramatizing, and the rallies that she had, filled with a spirit that you would think that an American looking at that would say, this is the kind of thing we want, not an enemy, but a neighbor. The vision was presented, and the problem wasn't the candidate. The problem was an American people who could be given that choice so starkly and choose the side that aligns with what we traditionally have understood as evil. That's what we should be looking into. And by the way, when it comes to the word evil, I'm doing a series, which I hope I'm going to try to show, and I believe that I can, that there is such a thing in the world as a coherent force that consistently works to make things more broken, to make the human world worse, and that it can be shown, and that it's important that we see it. So that's what I'm trying to present in this series. Soon be making the third entry in that series to talk about how it can be seen. There is a coherent force, and that is the nature of the political battle in America in these times. And the American people chose the thing that would be reasonable to call evil, a force of brokenness, if you prefer, a force of destruction. And that contrast between what Kamala was showing the people and what Trump was showing the people could not have been more vivid. So the American people can be assumed not to have been fooled fundamentally. How could you not see that stark contrast? At some level, choose it because you're drawn in a destructive direction, which is what the evil is. Okay, join me on the series. I'll try to show that coherent force.